my god, how am I gonna fucking start this shit? What's up, guys? I'm back with the milk and cigarettes. Let's completely forget the last time I uploaded and pretend I never left. Anyways, hi guys. I'm so sorry for the lack of uploads, but I am back with a lovely one for you guys. If y'all don't remember or know, today is my debut anniversary, and if you can obviously tell by the title of the video, I thought it'd be a neat idea to redesign slash draw these characters from the infamous game. It's pretty niche, actually. It's a pretty niche game, Yandere Simulator. As of late, I have been really into redesigning my OCs, and one night while I was doom scrolling, I came across artists redesigning Yandere Simulator characters, especially the very concerning characters from the game. If you know, you know. My brain, after frying it with endless amounts of Instagram reels, decided why not hop on this little trend. So let's start with the first and obvious character. Now, before I start explaining the choices I made for Ayano's redesign, I want to give a slight update about my disappearance slash hiatus. Without going into, personal detail, I have a lot going on, which is kind of preventing me from really doing much. It all comes down to really my housing situation, which again, I'm kind of forced to use my temporary setup, which I still am using right now, which is kind of crappy. I'm like, if you hear a slight echo throughout this recording, it's pretty shit. And this setup is heavily restricted. Not much I can do other than draw, play games in really low settings, and goon. Anyways, that's pretty much it. Enough of my chud life. Y'all are mostly interested in the progression of my redesign. So my many inspirations behind Ayano was actually from this Instagram reel while doom scrolling. This artist had a really good take on changing Ayano's personality, having her to be two-faced in a way. I like to think she appears to be nice, friendly, and approachable, someone that looks like they can do no harm, but in her head is probably talking mad shit. Sort of like the anime Komi Can't Communicate. Komi's appearance terrifies people. Some find her elegant and too cool to even talk to. However, her appearance is quite the opposite. She is very kind and an anxious person. I like that idea for Ayano, though the opposite. You can say it's a mask. Oh my god, that was so shitty. Oh my god. Her real personality is shown when she's committing a crime, which is, the Yandere poster girl y'all know, basically. I also changed up the uniform because that was really the big problem for me, was the uniforms. It's kind of a known fact that these characters are wearing middle school uniforms, even though Yandere devs stated they are in high school. I think there is a setting somewhere in the game where you can change the uniforms, but I'm not sure. The last time I ever watched gameplay or read up on the lore was back in 2019, so I'm not very knowledgeable about this game anymore. I tried hopping back on the game until Yandere dev was exposed for doing some really disgusting stuff, and I'm surprised this man isn't behind bars. Moving on, I had this idea for Ayano. Whenever she's committing these crimes, it would be cool for her to use the uniform's tie to hold her hair up. As for me, whenever I'm going to the gym or doing any physical labor, I have to have my hair up. It would make sense to not have your hair in the way while you're, slaying people, slaughtering people, just Why not? Back to the topic of uniforms. The uniform colors are mostly from the 1980 mode. I just really like the red and soft brown colors, so I kind of changed them around. I'm very fond of her design, so I tried my best to keep it slightly faithful to the original, but made the necessary changes that really stood out to me. Here she is, Ayano Aishe. Clever name, by the way. So clever. I hope you guys like this one. On to the next character. Hosana. She was quite the puzzle for me when redesigning her. I didn't know much about her other than her being childhood friends with senpai. God, that shit's so cringe. And of course, her being an obnoxious tsundere. Searching through her wiki was a nightmare. I was up at 2 a.m. after being awake for 24 hours because of work. I had the pleasure of reading all of the nonsense that was put in that wiki. How can a wiki explain so much yet so little? I'm gonna stop myself before I go on an annoying rant about the wiki and its weird specific choices being put in these pages. After reading ungodly amounts of useless paragraphs, I came to find she is heavily into cats and hangs around with the bullies, which are basically the Gyaru characters. And one last little detail, she used to write fan fictions. Girl, me too. I kind of simplified her a bit because again, there was way too much useless information I'd rather not get into. With this sort of information, I changed her appearance a lot. Deciding on her hairstyle was kind of tricky. I wanted to give her a very volumized ponytail. However, I went back and looked at the bully's design because I vaguely remember one of them having the hairstyle I had in mind. And well, yes, one of them indeed has it. So I completely scrapped that idea. It was so difficult to come up with a hairstyle. Later on, I finally came up with these small pigtails while her hair was down. I tried making her pigtails form like cat ears, though I think it doesn't look like it now that I'm really looking onto it. Oh well, I kept the scrunchies because honestly they are kind of iconic to her character design. Speaking of scrunchies, I thought those were the only hair accessories. She actually has a pink bow. When did she ever have this? I was having the hardest Mandela effect all because of this bow. In the end, I removed it after that thought. Well, that and because I replaced them with these cute cat themed hair clips, which are far better in my opinion. For her uniform, I drew her in a different variant of the school's uniform. The next variant you will see for the upcoming character I'm going to redesign. I thought it would be interesting to have more than just one uniform, hence I made her one of those said variants. I did give her more of a Gyaru look. Either way, I switched up her color palette as well. Her bright orange hair was not cutting it for me. Another complaint about her design. Wow, I noticed that I have many complaints for this character. Well, here she is. Ta-da! Hosana Naijimi. Let's switch over to the next character. Now, Amai was so fun to draw. After the whole hectic night of me researching the wiki, I decided not to do any research on her, which led me into changing her whole character. Starting with her pose, I switched up her personality as well. My idea was to have her clumsy instead of the nurse character being the one clumsy. Having her clumsy would be far better and way cuter, especially interactions with senpai. I'm not calling him that. What's his name again? Taro, right. Okay, Taro. With Taro. I thought her cutscene with Taro was a bit awkward. Like, dude literally trauma dumped her about his childhood friend. That's That's not normal. Come on, let's be for real. That's not normal. Imagine meeting a stranger for the first time and you airing out your dirty laundry onto them. No, that's weird, dude. That is some weird behavior. Okay, switching back to the design. I did give her a very familiar hairstyle. I wanted her to still keep her motherly appearance, so what better hairstyle to use other than the dead anime mom side braid? I know someone has that hairstyle. Let's forget about that and let's talk about the uniform. Honestly, this is my favorite variant of the uniform, along with her accessories. I kept her little scarf, bandana, I don't know, whatever that thing is called. Her other accessory is her club captain satchel, I don't know. The accessory I did have to remove was her apron. It bothered me. Like, why have it on all day during class? Especially to me, I viewed it as unsanitary. Coming from a person who works at a bakery, once I step foot out, I immediately take my apron off. You never know how dirty some of these surfaces are. I kept her color palette a very neutral tone. Here is Amai Arayaka. I think that's how you pronounce her last name. Might have butchered. Who cares? Well, how did I do? These are so fun and challenging to make. I want to thank all of you guys for sticking around while I'm still on my hiatus. And who knows, I might come back in a month or two. Don't quote me on that. Anyways, I'd like to hear you guys' feedback. Did I cook or did I make the absolute god-awful slop? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. I hope to see you guys soon.